Hello, everybody. Welcome to this live stream. It's just going to be kind of a chill live stream here. For those of you, I just want to make sure right off the bat, can you guys hear me? I guess should be the number one question. Just write down in the comment or the chat screen if you can hear me. Give it a thumbs up if you can. Where are we here? Mark Osborne. I live in Scotland, but it's been a few months living in Taiwan. Hope you're feeling well. The Chinese saber rattling. Hey, Mark. Glad you can hear me. It's just going to be kind of a chill live stream. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm willing to talk about. And just didn't really have a planned topic for this. Some of this is just going to be me kind of going over kind of some of my plans I have going forward a little bit for the channel. Also, right now, just playing a little bit of guitar as well. Just happened to pop in. Man, I love this amp. I have to say Marshall did a good job with their MGX series, putting out really good amps, because this one I've had for about 10 years, and I love always playing around with the phasers and the flangers and everything in it. Gives it kind of a cool sound. Yeah, that is chorus, and where is it set to right now? Yeah, it's kind of that setting in between chorus and the flanger section, so it does have a little bit of that going on. I always just like playing around with these. I have to say I'm glad that they put them in the amp instead of having to go out constantly and just buy pedals for it. Kind of makes it a little easier. Yeah, and I love also the fact they put the delay in there as well. That always makes it quite fun to play around with. It's one thing I wish over the next few years I can yeah, it's great when they're built in. One thing I wish over the next few years I'd like to just upgrade my pickups in this. It's just a Squier cheap built Stratocaster, but at the time it was all I can afford, and even my father-in-law mentions that he's like, really, you don't need to spend a ton of money on the guitar itself. Is if you even buy like a cheap guitar, put some really damn good pickups in it, it'll sound better than a lot of really high-end guitars at times. So that might be the next path I go forward with. Yeah, I guess I got it kind of in a little subsection where it's right between both of them, and I have to say I really enjoy this. One of my buddies knows a guy who's looking to sell one of those old Yamaha rotary speaker things. Oh, what is it? It's kind of like a rotary speaker. It's like a rotating speaker that goes around as you're playing. David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, I guess, had one way back in the day, and he played it in or plugged it in and played it, and it sounds perfect, and it actually has a really nice sound to it. So if I was to ever get like a big piece of gear or something, I think that would be it. And that'd pretty much be it, because other than really going out and buying maybe a Boss distortion pedal, that's pretty much everything else is built in here. Like, it's even got the little bit of tuner already built into it, so it's really good. Well, I guess first things first, I didn't really have a plan too much for this, so let's see. These days, the electronics are so advanced that everything is a lot easier and sounds a lot better. Yes, it does. I will agree with that. One thing I will also say about it, has anybody, I'm not sure, has anyone went out and looked at, like, back in the day, those, what were they? Moog synthesizers or whatever that Keith Emerson and many other guys played. And I have to say, like, you'd almost need you'd almost need like an electrical engineer to figure out where all these little wires go just to play that damn thing. Like, it was insane. 30 years since I used to play music, but both my brothers still play, and always amazed at the new technology that's available even for small amps and PCs. Yeah, that's one thing. My dad also said that. He's like, imagine if they took the technology they have now and put it on a lot of those older records, like how amazing those would sound. He always said, like, unless you had kind of like a high-end stereo, everything sounded like shit. Or if you had the little equalizer. He said, yeah, I had to have one of those, otherwise your albums would sound terrible. Heavens to Merseyside. So being you're playing a Strat, this might be a good time to ask if you think Clapton trying to get the woman sound of a Fender rather than Gibson he originally used was a good idea. Could be. I'm always amazed at guitar players who always go out and find their own style. Like, that's one thing I'll say. I don't necessarily have a brand loyalty, Fender, Gibson, Cort, PRS, whoever. I find as long as it's comfortable and it's what you want to use it for, what you want to use it for, it's a good idea. I just don't get a lot of the tribalism with a lot of even pieces of like guitars and that. I'm like, whatever you like is you. That's always my thought about it. Even Moogs were old when I was playing keyboards, yeah. Even just having the internet would have been miraculous in my day. Oh man. I wonder how much some of those like, imagine if you had the internet back when even Yes did 90215, I believe it is. Could you imagine those fans just attacking the band constantly? How dare you change your sound? Type stuff. Oh man, that could have started wars back then. Can't really stay so high. I can hear you. Yeah, it's man, or even I always kind of that would always amaze me if people back in the day had the internet. What would have been written on there? Some of it might be a little bit more quick-witted, funny, but man, holy crap! I think they would have hunted down the Beatles after they found out that they broke up or something, and just went insane about it. Maybe started a flash mob, chased them down to their house, found out where they lived. If they had the internet, man. But musically, like what they could have done would have been amazing. Guys like Frank Zappa, what he would have done. Like so many great musicians. Imagine what Robert Fripp would have did if he had some of this technology back then. Like what he could have done. Man. But anyway, I thought I'd also in this live stream, I went out last weekend, and wife likes to go look at antiques and everything, so we go around and every once in a while, and came across this one antique place that is, oh man, how many were? I think there was 22 sheds worth of stuff. And I happened right around the end of our time, we came to one that was pretty much music. And I decided, oh, let's just look at some of the vinyls they have, see what's there. And I thought I'd check it out. So I thought I'd show you guys some of the vinyl I picked up while I was out there. So let's just start off with number one. Oh. Yeah, Fripp was able to do quite a lot, even without it. But, yeah. Not quite like American Pickers. I don't travel up to somebody's house and say I want to look at your stuff. Like, this is an actual antique place where they have it all kind of set out. It's all there. You can come look at it. If you want to buy some, you can buy it. But I did pick up quite a lot of vinyl there. I picked up the big hits, High Tide and Green Grass by the Rolling Stones. Thought, you know what, even if I, like, a lot of my vinyl, especially like my record player, is kind of in storage right now, so I thought, you know what, pick up some of this. Even if I don't listen to it right off the bat, like, at least I have some really good artwork. Also, I found there, this is really going back in the day, Twist and Shout by the Beatles. Which, I was like, you know what? I actually looked at the record on it, and I'm like, holy crap, this record is actually almost pristine. Like, there's not a scratch on it. So they must not have listened to it very much, and it was actually not a bad price. I think like the Stones one I got for $7. I got this one for $5, and I'm like, you know what? Good stuff. Listen to it. Also got "Wanna Hold Your Hand" by the Beatles. This one was a little bit more. It was 10, but I looked at all the records and they look like they're in pretty good condition. There's not a scratch, or if there is, it's like not very noticeable one. Now getting into some of the other stuff, talking about the Beatles, I picked up Wings, Venus and Mars. Yeah, pick this one up. This one also in really, really, really good condition. Like, for the vinyl, it's as if the person bought it, only listened to it once or twice, and stuck it on a shelf, which is great. Outside's a little worn, but I assume that's pretty much from age. But haven't listened to very much Wings, but it does make me want to go out and listen to this. And on the back has all the lyrics to the album, what I like. Now into some prog stuff for some of you prog fans. Peter Gabriel's solo record. I believe this is his first. Yeah, 19. But man, I seen this and I was like, holy crap! They only wanted $5 for it. I'm like, I'll definitely pay $5 for Peter Gabriel's solo. I heard one song off this. I believe this has let's see what's on this. Because I know I heard one song from this. Salisbury Hill, that's what's on this. That's what I know it for. But I thought, you know what? Looks good. And can anyone say, oh my god, that looks creepy as hell? From Peter Gabriel. I believe this also... Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Robert Fripp and Tony Levin, weren't they also on these? If I remember correctly. And then I found this, and as soon as I found this, I had to actually buy this. They wanted, I was shocked when I seen it, and they only wanted $2 for it. And I'm like, holy shit, I have to come back to this place. This is some of their prices for vinyl. For all you progressive rock fans out there, Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. I was like, man, I have to... Oh, he produced Play on the Second Realm, okay. I found Tubular Bells, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is the first time I've even seen it, and it's an original press vinyl. I had somebody say once that if you're to react to Tubular Bells, try and find the original. Because I guess he remastered it or something, and don't know. The only album I found there that was massively overpriced, and I'm like, I can't justify spending this. They wanted $50 for the original Doors record, and I'm like, I can't justify that. Not at the moment. Not like, wife's like, but do you really want it? It's like, I want it, but I don't know if I want $50 back. So. And then for something just way completely different, I seen this and it was different. Looks actually in really good shape, surprisingly. The soundtrack to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I just seen this and I'm like, you know what? It's different. I have no idea what the heck to expect. So I figured, you know what? I'll definitely give that a listen. But yeah, Wrath of Khan. That's actually one of my favorite Star Trek movies. Of all of them, I always thought that was probably one of the best ones they did. But anyway, that's my little bit of albums that I checked out on last weekend. Have to say that place, I think I'm going back. They had tons more, and like there was boxes, and at that time I'd already been there 2.5 hours, and I'm like, oh man, if I had a day, I'd probably go through all their albums, all their vinyl, and check it out, because it was actually, there was a lot of really good stuff in there. Let's see. Glad the Beatles and Stones are in good condition. Yeah, it's really good that the Beatles and Stones ones are in really good condition. Like, it seems like maybe the person that had it, like, listened to it maybe once or twice, put it on a shelf, and then just never went back to it. Maybe they didn't care for the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. Who knows? But it looked really good to me. I played a Maximog with all those wires and shit at the old ARP with the lever. Holy crap. Yeah, those old synthesizers, man, like it's almost like you needed a damn electrician to go through and set it up for you, but imagine being the roadie that had to go out and hook that whole thing up every night. That would have been insane. I used to love Venus and Mars when I was a teenager. It was actually my dad's LP, but I listened to it a lot. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Like Wings, I've heard pretty much their hits. That's it. But out of the Beatles, I think I really like. I have to go back because it's one of those things. I never got really into the Beatles. I never got really into their side stuff. I think that's a lot of it is my dad. He was never a big Beatles guy. He was never a big Stones guy. He was never a big. Wasn't really. He had a few bands he really liked, and occasionally you'd get what was on the radio. But other than that, not really a music guy. Mom back in the day listened to Alice Cooper a little bit. Went Billy Joel a lot. She loved Billy Joel. Uh, she loved Trooper, which is for Canadian bands. It's like okay, but yeah, Alice Cooper. And then she told me a story of she went and seen Billy Joel up in Edmonton one night back in the 70s and said he was playing and he finished his set and he played 8 encores. And she said, like, she's getting to the end of this, like, ooh, this is going to be a rush to the bus because had to catch a bus to go, because she lived out of town, had to go catch a bus back to Wainwright and said, yeah, she's like, she just made her bus, but that was like one of her best concert experience was seeing Billy Joel. Also, she said she's seen she couldn't remember who all was on it, but it was like some big rock thing. But she said, all right, Prudus, you have a smaller penis. She said it was Ted Nugent, and she couldn't remember if Peter Frampton was there, but she believes Blue Oyster Cult was there. And I was thinking, holy crap, that would be a good concert to go to. But she said it was like an all-day thing. It was just a bunch of bands that she went and seen. And said, yeah, it was really good. Yeah, I think it is an anthology for the Stones there, Bill. It's kind of like all their singles just thrown onto a record and released. I know there's a. Let's see if I can pull it out here and just show what's on here. Or see if it tells me. Probably be on the vinyl, I guess. Sleeve note. But there you get a good shot of all the members of the Stones. 19th Century Breakdown, Heart of Stone, Get Off My Cloud, Not Fade Away, Good Times, Bad Times, Play with Fire, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, The Last Time As Tears Go By, Time Is On My Side, It's All Over Now and Tell Me. Yeah, so it looks like it's mostly just kind of a compilation record. Yeah, I heard Salisbury Hill off of Peter Gabriel's first album, and I have to say, I really enjoy that record. It is fantastic. Or at least that album, but I heard that song and it's fantastic. Uh, Moribund the Burgermeister is excellent. Okay, I'll check that out. Produced and played on the second album. I also wasn't he on the third as well? Robert Fripp and Tony Levin. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tubular Bells is a classic. Great thing about that is today I put out a poll saying there's a couple full album reviews I have to do and react to. So today's going to be Thick as a Brick and also Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. That's going to be quite a long day of listening to a lot of music, but I'm going to enjoy that quite a bit. Did you know David Byron was invited to rejoin Uriah Heep in '82 by Mick and Trevor, but he declined? Yeah, he was asked to come back. I think, oh man, that would have been insane if he did, but I don't know if it would have worked. Not with where they were. Also, there's a lot of I believe I responded to you by saying, I know I've seen interviews on YouTube of both David and Ken. I want to say late 70s, early 80s. And David Byron was, I don't know what was said to David Byron when they fired him, but at least from this interview I got, he was fired because the album didn't do very well. Maybe they didn't want to throw his addiction in there as to being why. But man, he had a lot of choice words to say about I don't know why I'm getting fired, because Ken Hensley wrote that album. It's all his material. I don't know why I'm getting fired for that. It should have been Ken that got fired. And then Ken came. I'm not sure which interview came first. And then Ken said David Byron was not a great singer. I remember watching the critical review of Uriah Heep. It was, I believe it's an unauthorized sort of look at their career, their albums, kind of like review them back in, like, I want to say the early 2000s. And I really noticed that when they're talking to Jerry Braun, there was a lot of, let's just say he took every chance he could to bury David Byron and to prop up Ken Hensley. I don't know which is which. I think the only one left that would know would be Mick Box, and I don't know if it's something he would ever talk about. Just out of respect for both guys, because I know during those interviews I'm listening to it and I'm like, holy crap, they're throwing a lot of shade at each other. But I'd have to go back on YouTube and find the exact interviews. Like, this is years ago. I have 3 of the Doors. First, you can have one for nothing, but not the Mo-Fi one. Yeah, I don't mind the Doors. Like, they're one of those bands, like, I know there's parts to the Doors where I'm like, you know what, as a fan who's really come to appreciate prog, I think it's really opened myself up to songs that maybe I didn't like in the past, but I really, really like, really come to really enjoy the Soft Parade as a really good record. Out of the Morrison era, I actually enjoy pretty much every record. I didn't know up until, I want to say this year or a couple years ago, like within the last few years, that there was actually more Doors albums than just the Morrison. That they did try and continue on. I had no idea. Until I looked at Spotify one day and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I haven't I haven't braved myself to listen to it yet. I'm just gonna, that might be something on this channel I do actually react to, some of those songs. And that's one thing for my Doors list I was gonna ask is, do you want it to just be the Morrison era, or do you want me to encompass it all? Because I'm just about done my Morrison era list and top 10 and see if there's any other songs that can make it out of that. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home is my favorite Star Trek movie. Yeah, there's some here and there. There's some hit and miss. I think I bought them. I haven't watched them all yet. Like, I watched the first one, I watched the second one, I watched the third one. I don't think I've seen A Voyage Home. I seen First Contact. I seen the really bad 2003 one. From what I remember, was very, from at least my perspective as a kid, I felt very bored during it. I think I watched the reboot one. I haven't seen Into Darkness or the one after. So I'm kind of like, do I watch these movies, kind of thing. But I'll probably come to it one day and watch a lot of it. Where am I? Tony Levin played on the third. Robert Fripp may have. I can't remember. Yeah, I remember. I was shocked when I was going through it, and that Robert Fripp actually was on one of them. I'm like, holy crap. Like, I know he left King Crimson. I know he did a solo record. I know he worked with Bowie, but I had no idea he worked with Gabriel. Which that would have been a fantastic match. Like, I remember hearing one song. I can't remember the song I heard, but it was really good with Robert Fripp. Oh, and he also worked a little bit on Nectar's, what is it? Magic is the Child or something it's called. I remember I reacted to one song from that album, and I was shocked to find out one of the pseudonyms used was actually for Robert Fripp, which I'm like, that's amazing. The opening riff from Uriah Heep's song from the Sonic Origami album called Feels Like sounds a bit like Black Sabbath. I'd have to go back, listen to Sonic Origami. It's, take your word for it. It's been an album, like, there's a lot of Heap albums that I might listen to once in a while. Sonic Origami's not on my list of, like, must listen to, but it is in there. Like, I do listen to it once in a while. Man, yeah, check it out. Fred Frith played guitar on Tubular Bells. Okay. At the time, the third album, David Rhodes was his guitarist, but Fripp may have added something. That could always be. There's a lot of. It's kind of interesting going through like Peter Gabriel albums. It's kind of like going through Kate Bush albums. You have to pick out, okay, that guy's on that song. That guy's on that song. That person's on that song. Okay, it's kind of like a credits of who's who, but it's really interesting. It's too bad he couldn't find in the Court of the Crimson King. People seem to want it too much money for it. Yeah, this place, I think if they had it, I don't know if they know what they had or what it was worth, but I think I could probably get a deal on it if I did find it. That album I would love to find and find the original pressing, because I think a lot of these are original pressings, which the one thing I will say about vinyl back in the day, that heavy analog sound is amazing. Like, I remember going into, what's the store? Revolver up in Edmonton, and they have like new and used vinyl, and I remember checking it out, and ladies like, sorry sir, but we have that in newer if you want that. And I told her, no, I want the old original analog. Sounds better, sounds heavier. And that's one thing they said, if you ever find Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, always listen to the original vinyl. It sounds amazing. Sounds heavier, more doomier. I had the Court of the I had in the Court soon after it came out. A fave, still is. It's a great record. It's fantastic. Set the mood for prog going forward. Like, one thing I'll say is, I might be in the minority but I would consider sections, not full album, but sections of Doors music to have kind of that proto prog influence where they might not have done it through a whole song, but they had many different styles they played in. They I thought they did Moody Blues. I know in the Court of the Crimson King it's called the first prog album. Could you say In the Days of Future Past might be? Because I hear a lot of people talk about this, and I'm looking at reacting to the whole album and listening to it. But some have mentioned that as potentially, like, to them, one of the first prog, or the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper. But it still had some have said it has too many elements of pop still in it to be considered prog, but I don't know. I just checked. Fripp played guitar on 3 songs on that third Peter Gabriel album. Yeah, I know I'm seeing his name. I was actually, after seeing his name, really shocked I was able to upload it, because usually anything with Robert Fripp is an instant, I'm Robert Fripp, I'm blocking that video. But who knows? I just find it kind of, I wouldn't say sad is the right, it's kind of, I don't know how I want to put this. It's kind of sad that most people will only know Robert Fripp for those breakfast videos and not for his actual music and how good he is. That's kind of my thing, because I watched a few of these and I'm like, but my wife says, you know what, is the guy having fun? Is he enjoying doing it? Which seems like he is, and it's like, okay, well, that's Robert. I have In the Wake of Poseidon, but I haven't seen a decent copy. I might be one of the few. I actually really like that record, and I don't think it's a step down from In the Court of the Crimson King. I think it's very much on par. It's very much a continuation. But where I differ so far from a lot of King Crimson fans, my favorite album so far is Islands. I haven't heard past Large Tongue and Aspic, but I really, really enjoy Islands. I think that's a beautiful record. Crimson King is still one of my all-time favorite albums. It's a really good record. Flows easy, each song's different, has its own feel, and that's something that it's like its own universe. You can kind of just close your eyes and feel different kinds of emotions, different kinds of sounds. I'm like, okay, this is something I can really get into. So great that younger folks are discovering great progressive classics from the late 60s, early 70s. There was something in the air back then. Incense and peppermints helps to remove some of it. Yeah. As my dad always said, to live through it, 60s and 70s weren't really great decades to live through, but said the music was really good. Like, the talent was there. He said if you could have taken today's technology with the talent, man, what they could have created. He was very much about innovation in music, hearing different stuff every once in a while. Yeah, but man, through the years, there's a lot I have to go back and listen to, and I'm enjoying it. Which I have to say, one guy I found on here I absolutely love. Found his channel. I went back and seen he actually commented on a lot of my videos. Is I really love the Prog Corner. His channel is really good. You can tell he loves it, and he also listens to new prog. It's one of those where it's like certain people ended at a certain point and they never progressed. But this guy seems to really enjoy everything, and I have to give him a shout out. Great channel. Go check his channel out. He does really great lists, rankings, topics. He just did one where he said, yeah, the Beatles are seen a thing, is the Beatles prog, and I watched his video, and it was really interesting because he's like, damn right they are, and explained each one. Like, he's very knowledgeable. That's another reason I really love listening to his channel. Other voices are pretty good musically. Other three guys were great. Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. That like, I've been meaning to get into that Other Voices record from the Doors, and it's just getting that. Do I hit play? And it's like, damn it, I want to. But there's part of me where it's like, oh damn, do I? It's one of those, will I hate this type stuff, but it's really good. It's like when 10 Years After was on Dream Records, it seemed a heavier grade of vinyl. Yeah, a lot of vinyl. It also helps if you didn't try to press too much music onto it where it kind of bled through. I heard some said that hurt like a lot of albums in the 80s where they tried to really pack a lot on the vinyl, and it muddied the sound a little bit where you'd get like two different songs playing once. I've really been enjoying Fripp on his YouTube channel with his wife, Toya Wilcox. You get to know him a bit. Okay. I've just seen only a few, and I'm like, how I. But hey, maybe it's like prog. Maybe it's something where you have to watch it a few times to really understand this. It's just interesting. Like it's like, man. But hell, if it gets more people to look up Robert Fripp and King Crimson, or even a lot of his solo and guest work, I'm all for that. Because he really is an amazing guitar player. Like, had a really good sense about him. Oh, there's so many great guitar players out there where I could sit down like and listen to a lot of this stuff for days. I bet you my wife would let me if work wasn't an issue and I could just sit down and listen to nothing but music all day and not move. That would pretty much be my life. I just sit there and listen to music all day. Be like, okay. Be what I enjoy, what I don't. But man, there's some. Yeah, really enjoying that I'm going to be reacting to Thick as a Brick today. Also, Tubular Bells. Another album I'm probably going to do a full album reaction on because it's an album I can only find on YouTube, and it's one of those where it's like, I've heard one song off this album. From that one song, I want to check out the rest, and that would be Nude by Camel. I've heard a song here and there from them. I believe Mystic Queen is one, which I believe is their first album, and one other song from the Mirage album I've heard. And after that, I might listen to more Camel, but I heard the Nude album is actually really good from Camel. It kind of ushers into more of, I guess, what you'd say their, how do you put it, their Pink Floyd sound. They kind of morphed into that a little bit. Some of them are a bit iffy, but there are some funny moments. Gonna sign off tonight. Nice having a chat. Yeah, nice chatting with you, Mark. I try and give many days notice before I do these. That way, if anybody wants to, they can check it out. It's not like it's just sprung on you. But yeah, it's nice chatting with you. Have a good night, man. But yeah, iffy moments, yeah. I can't remember which one I was watching, but there's one where she's like on a door and she's just like going like this. I'm like, holy crap. If you like Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder, I have some obscure psychedelia from the late 60s. You should check out H.P. Lovecraft. Try and Mount at the Mountains of Madness. I'll check that out. I'm not a huge yeah, nice surprise. Cheers, man. Not a huge fan of Chris Cornell or Eddie Vedder. I have to be in the right mood to listen to them. Has to be the right time, right circumstances, because I'm not a big grunge guy, and at times I think there's certain songs that just got overplayed. Like, I hate the song Alive. I cannot stand that song. It's one of those on the, if they ever play it, I will literally turn off the radio songs a little bit, but I just don't know why. I just am not a huge grunge guy. Out of all of them, Alice in Chains' Facelift I really like. But there's songs here and there from both of them I'll listen to, I'll give a chance to. But yeah, it's interesting, I guess, to say the least. It was weird. I've never really understood that whole period of music. I just don't know why. H.P. Lovecraft. Try at the Mountains of Madness. That is a nice title, though, At the Mountains of Madness. Yeah, rock and roll. So are there... So as I go forward with these, I'm thinking about... Oh, okay. I mean, just two vocalists. HP kind of sounds like American Pink Floyd. That I could get behind. Like, if it has that kind of Pink Floyd sound to it. That's why I kind of want to do this Camel one, because I heard one song and it reminds me so much of David Gilmour. And Andrew Latimer reminds me a lot of them. So I thought I'd check out that record. Going forward, because I have such a backlog of songs, I'm thinking about just doing full album reactions, because I went through a lot of comments and went through a lot of my lists, and I'm like, if I just listen to the whole record, react to each song, I'm not sure if I'm going to put them out all at once, or it might be each day I just put out another song from that record. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. It's still a work in progress. But for the two I'm doing today, it's because they're pretty much one full song. That's how that works. Yeah, and I think even if there's one song off there maybe I've heard, I'll probably just react to it anyway, mentioning the thing that I have heard it. But it's interesting because I've reacted to pretty much from, I want to say I've reacted from the Yes album to Relayer, every song from Yes. Going for the One and Tormato, I think there's only a handful of songs I haven't finished, which would bring me up to Drama. So yeah, that might be what I'm going to start doing going forward. It's just full album reactions. And then I think you guys are going to see a lot more as I start getting through bands' discographies and stuff, a lot more. Yeah, no problem, Bill. Nice chatting with you. Glad you enjoy the channel. Hope you get your daughter home safe and you get back safe and all that. Yeah. But yeah, I've really been thinking a lot about stuff to do for the channel, stuff I want to do maybe a little bit differently. Like, there's tons of stuff I want to do. Yeah, no problem, Bill. There's so much stuff I want to do different. Like, I want to do a lot of top 10 lists. I'm thinking for prog bands with new albums out, maybe I give them a listen and start reviewing a lot of prog, hard rock, heavy metal, classic rock, soft rock. Do a lot of different album reviews. Uh, Kind of that kind of thing. Like, because I do eventually want to branch out from just doing pretty much reaction videos. I do want to go do a few different kinds of videos. Now, if you notice on my channel, I did take down a lot of my old top 5 and top 10 lists and stuff because I think my opinions have changed so radically from those videos that I think they're almost obsolete. And I want to do like kind of my definitive. Like, this is one I'll put up there I'll be happy with all time. I can look back on and say, I love this list. This list is definitive of me. I was talking also to the Prog Corner today, and I did mention one idea I have is I want to do an every song ranking for Pink Floyd, where I rank every song. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. That's just one idea I've had going forward. And I'll probably break it into parts, because I think if I did every song, that would get very long, and that'd be a very long video. And I'm sure you guys don't want to sit here for like 3-4 hours while I explain songs and stuff, so it's my thought on that. But I don't know, is there any more top 10 lists you want to see me do? Any album reviews you want me to do? Because I'm really open to doing anything. I'm just really interested to get your guys' feedback, your guys' ideas. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think if there's anything really else. However, I do kind of want to get back into playing guitar a little bit. So I wonder if you guys want to see some more guitar videos from me. I haven't touched a guitar pretty much, other than maybe just noodling on it for years. I'm just kind of thinking about if I should actually just get back into play it and start recording my progress on it, if that's what you guys want to see. Yeah. Oh, and also in my Pink Floyd reaction one, that's pretty much going to be, I think, stuck to just studio albums. Maybe the album behind me, Relics, like some of those ones. Because then I got into the whole thing, if I start getting into singles, start getting into all this and that, it's like, man, this is going to take forever. And the only thing that sucks about having a job is time. You have to really manage your time after work. But anyway, that's my thoughts. That's my ideas. We're coming up to an hour on this live stream. I think I'm going to end it now. And anyway, hopefully those of you watching, you enjoyed the live stream. I'll probably have another scheduled one here maybe during this week. I'm not sure. I have to figure out what I want to do, how much I want to do. But anyway, that's live stream. Once again, guys, thank you for checking it out. This is me here signing out. Peace.